Alright, y'all. So, welcome to the latest episode of Let's Talk. And I decided to do something a little bit different this time. So, instead of getting in front of the camera and just pushing record, I decided I wanted to try and come out with an audio only episode. So, in this episode of Let's Talk, I want to talk about the direct correlation between good parenting and good parenting skills and good money management, and how the lack of it can lead to some bad money management skills and overall just some bad behavior in general. Now, I'm sure you guys and gals are like, okay, this kind of makes sense. Or, you're probably saying, how do these things connect? Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. So, why did I make this connection as to how good parenting leads to good overall money management skills? And I'm going to tell you. As an adult, now I am not a parent. I have not been blessed to have a child yet, but I have been blessed and honored to help raise a lot of successful individuals that are out there in the world right now. Oh, I love them to death. They're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep working hard. Keep being successful. Keep striving to get to your dream. Your dream. That is your American dream. Just wanted to throw that out there. So, how did I make this correlation or this connection? Well, it's really quite simple. Growing up, the way I was raised is I was raised in a way where we look, we listen, and we learn. So a lot of the behavior that I learned to imitate, or I learned to be a productive member of society, or I learned how to behave when I'm around other people or out in the public, I learned from my parents. So my mom, my dad, and then my siblings. Now, I am actually the youngest of, 5 or 6? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 of us. I'm the youngest of 5. So I had all these role models, and they taught me things as I was growing up. And not even just my parents and my siblings, but my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, my best friends, from elementary school, high school, middle school, college. All these people were my role models. And a role model, in a sense, is kind of like a parent, okay? And a role model, in that sense, is somebody that teaches you something or behaves in a way that you strive to imitate or learn from. That is what I would consider my definition of a role model to be. So, like, my older brother is extremely successful. Growing up, I strive to emulate and duplicate his hardworking ethics. Okay, he was very hardworking, going through school and going through college, and even when he got his first job. And that behavior and that hardworking ethics were passed down to me growing up. And the same thing can be said for all of my other siblings, and even my parents and my grandparents, so on and so forth. And this is why I'm going to make that direct correlation. Okay? So, how does this connect to money management skills? Well, think about it. If you grew up and your parents were not responsible with their money, 9 times out of 10, that means that you're not too responsible with your money because you picked up the learned behaviors from your parents. So this is why I would say that in order to have good money management skills, you need to have some good parenting. Now, that's not the only thing that you need to have some good money management skills, but that would be a good start, because then you learn the value of hard work. You learn the value of saving, okay? And you learn the value of living inside of your means and not going beyond your means. All important things to learn. And I feel like a lot of people out there in society, these things are there, but they're not really learning it. And, when you ask them, when you see a young person that's out on their own and you be like, bro, how come you didn't handle that better? And the first thing they say, well, I was never taught that growing up. Or, this is how my parents acted, so that's how I thought it was okay to act. And you see, that's the wrong mentality to have. If it's a negative mentality, okay? Now, if your parents were very responsible, and they taught you the right way to do things, then fine. That means you picked up some good ethical behaviors and you know how to handle your business. Now, on the other side of the token, you can be that one individual that was raised right, but just decided to do your own thing, and you kind of mess everything up on your own. Well, that's where the power of choice comes into play, because you can be taught the best way to do something, but at the end of the way you behave, the way you act, and what you do comes down to your choice. So you could have had the best teachers, best tutors, best parents in the world, and still ended up as being somebody, bad in society, or not being good with your money management skills. Because at the end of the day, y'all, it all comes down to choice. But having that good parenting, and that all 9 times out of 10 translates to having good money management skills, because you learned it. You saw your mom working hard growing up, or you saw your dad working hard growing up, and you were there to see how your parents managed their bills and how they paid their bills on time. And you never had the lights cut off. You always had food in the house, and the bills were always paid. So you never had to worry about, oh well, the water got cut off, or oh well, the power got cut off, or oh well, there's no food in the house, because your parents were always responsible enough to understand that those things right there, power, water, food, those are needs. Those are not wants. And you should always strive to take care of your needs first and not your wants, because needs are more important than your wants, okay? Anybody in the world could say they want a new car, right? But you shouldn't want a new car if the car you have right now runs perfectly fine. You've been maintaining it. It's got good gas mileage, and it does everything that you need it to do. Then why would you want a new car? See, that's where you can distinguish between a want and a need. Now, if you've been maintaining your car, but the age of your car is where it's kind of on its last legs, and it's time to get a new car, well, at that point, that becomes a need, because you need transportation to get around. Depending on the city that you live in or the state that you live in, busing or taxi cabs or, Lyft or Uber might not be the most cost-effective way to get around. So that's where a vehicle might be considered as a need. Now, also, on the other end of that spectrum, if you live in a state where it's got good busing, or you have a train system, good taxi cab system, so on and so forth, then maybe a vehicle might not be a need for you, because you're okay with taking public transportation. So this is where you would have to differentiate between your wants and your needs, okay? And you should always strive to live within your means. You should never stretch beyond your means and live outside your means. That's just a recipe for disaster. And if you were raised well, you would understand these things. Anyways, this has been rolling for about almost 10 minutes. So we're going to wrap it up right here. So this has been the latest episode of Let's Talk, and I'm interested. I want to pose this question to you guys down below in the comments. Leave your feedback. What would you consider to be some good parenting skills that you think would translate into some good overall money management skills. Leave your feedback down below. Let's have a nice, respectful conversation down there. I look forward to hearing what you guys and gals have to say. Have a good one, everybody, and I will catch you guys and gals in my next video or my next podcast. And also, let me know, would y'all be interested in seeing or hearing more of these audio only versions of the Let's Talk series? And also, to go along with that, what are some more topics that you would like to hear about or hear me talk about in this Let's Talk series? Leave your feedback down below. And I also want to send a big shout out to the boys over at Creator Cafe for inspiring your boy to put together this video or this podcast. So big shout out to your boy CKidTech. Big shout out to CJKnowsTECH, and big shout out to your boy Terry Warfield. I'll leave their links down below in the video description. There's some really great content creators, and you definitely need to be checking them out, especially the Creator Cafe that drops every Sunday. They be spitting some hard facts and some cold truths over there, but it's definitely something I feel you guys and gals need to be checking out. So feel free to check that out. I'll leave the links down below in the video description. And also, please let me know your feedback, because only with your feedback can I grow and get better. This is, after all, a community, so your feedback is greatly or always or very important and always appreciated. All right, have a good one, y'all. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Perfect.